Welcome to the first episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering, and this is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore community. I have to re-record this intro due to some technical difficulties, but I am interviewing the owner of Mathcore Index, the owner of Dark Trail Records, and co-host of the Mathcast, Christian Segerstrom. Enjoy. Taking me all the way back to where it started, I believe Antarctica must have been your first thing?
That was my first band. Well, actually, no, that was my second band. I was in a deathcore band before that, but
Oh, deathcore.
Around,
what was that?
It was called She Loves It, all one word.
Okay.
It was not very good. We just played like a handful of shows, but then like in 2008 or 9, I joined Antarctica.
Okay, sweet.
So that was like the first and only thing I've done that was of any consequence, I guess.
So, you were the vocalist and guitar. Well, I guess backup vocals and guitar, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. And y'all just had the one release, Beheaded by Voltron?
Actually, that was the one release that I was on, but there was another EP before that, and then another EP after that as well.
Oh, really?
But,
I know
yeah,
that you had all those other releases. Where can you get those? I didn't see them on Bandcamp.
they're on Bandcamp, but they're on List of Lakes Bandcamp, which is a Humboldt-based label that's run by the drummer of Antarctica, Quaid Ross.
Oh, okay.
So you can go find that on. Yeah, you can find that on their Bandcamp, and yeah, it kind of took a different turn at that point. It's more like math rock on the last EP.
Oh,
It's more like a solo project at that point. Yeah.
Like you were the only person left, basically, or?
No, it's Quaid's project originally. I just kind of joined and helped record and write that album, Beheaded by Voltron, and then he essentially made it a solo project after that.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Is he still making music, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Quaid's also in Car Made of Glass and Potion.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So did y'all do like any touring or anything, or was it just a local thing?
It was like regional tours. You know, we only just ever toured California. We never went out of state ever, unfortunately. Never really got the chance to go anywhere else.
Okay. Any awesome show stories?
Oh, yeah, we played a lot of really fucking. I mean, despite the fact that we didn't really do any national touring, we definitely played some really cool shows. One time we played a vineyard, like a shack in the middle of a vineyard, which wasn't like super well attended, but it was a really sick show, really good vibes. And another time we played a Hotel 6 or a Comfort Inn or something, and
Wait, what?
yeah, it was like a Hotel 6 bar. And
they had bars in Motel 6?
Yeah, maybe I can't even. No, it was like an attached bar to some commercialized hotel chain. But
yeah.
Anyway, we played that. That was pretty cool. We got a couple of free rooms as opposed to an actual guarantee.
Oh, damn. Alrighty.
Yeah, that I don't really have too many like super interesting show stories. I mean, we gigged extensively, but again, we didn't really go very many places. So.
Okay. So, was your first site the Apparatus? I thought that you had something before that.
I was actually not involved in the Apparatus. I was on like their message boards all the time, which is how I met Simon, who is the founder of Mathcore Index. I'm actually not really the founder or anything. I just kind of I became the steward, and now I run it full time. But Simon Richard is the person who founded Mathcore Index, and he was involved with the Apparatus. And actually, the Apparatus was run by Keith, who does all the Mathcore Index artwork. So actually I have no affiliation with them. I just kind of took over Mathcore Index, which is affiliated with the Apparatus.
Oh, okay. I thought that you had some other site before then, though. I thought I heard you on the podcast.
I did. I had another blog before that. It was called A Broken Circuit Monologue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was it. That sounds right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've actually stumbled across it.
I would love it if you have. Yeah, man, that was like my first endeavor into like writing and like sharing music online.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, man. So what made you want to start Mathcore Index?
Well, again, I didn't start Mathcore Index.
Oh, yeah. I mean, take it over.
Well, Simon actually kind of asked me to help moderator or administrator, whatever you want to call it. So that was kind of how I got into it. He had asked me because I'd already been doing Broken Circuit monologue, and I'd kind of been neglecting it at that point. So it was just kind of like a natural move. I just decided to take over that and have a much larger audience to share. I mean, it was about 2,000 people strong when I took it over at that time, and I think it was 2015 or 2013, actually 2014 maybe. I've been doing it for like 7 years.
Damn, dude, that's a long time. Holy crap.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second.
So that was like at the collapse of the scene, though, right? Or was it starting to build back up at that point?
You know, I never really perceived the scene to have. You mean like the mathcore scene? I don't really perceived it to have ever collapsed. I feel like it's always been there, just persisting sort of in the underground and maybe not like in a very like well-known capacity.
Okay.
Because there's like very few bands that actually even rep the tag, so it's kind of difficult to get it to receive any like larger acknowledgement. When Converge doesn't really want to associate with the tag, and Dillinger Escape Plan, barely associated with the tag.
Oh, really? See, I got into the scene in 2016, so I missed the whole like collapse of everything, like all the bands quitting and stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know the whole story behind all that.
I mean, you could certainly call it a revival of sorts. I mean, that's definitely where we're at this point with just the sheer abundance of extreme artists.
Yeah, it feels like it's just like taking off. Ever since the See You Space Cowboy EP, it just seems like everything's just, moving forward super quickly for it.
That's funny you say that. I think that is actually a pretty big turning point for the mathcore scene, even though they're not like super mathcore incarnate, so to speak. They kind of helped reinvigorate interest in that sound, old school Darters and heavy Lolo, and now we have bands like the Callous Dowboys, and so yeah, I think they definitely helped reinvigorate interest in the genre big time. They're definitely responsible for that to some degree.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand how they were able to just like sell out so quickly. It's like sell out their EP so quickly. Like it's just crazy. Like they just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
I think that was a Freudian
sauce,
slip. I think that might have been a Freudian slip because they certainly became really, as much as I like the new material, it's even more throwbacky and derivative than their older stuff. It's funny how they kind of
I didn't mean to sell out in that aspect. They do sound a lot different than what they did on the EP.
I hear
like
you
their EP selling out so well.
They've always managed to move records.
So I know you used to have reviews on Mathcore Index. Whatever happened to those? I hadn't seen those in a long time.
Oh, that's a good question. I kind of just don't really have the time to do them myself. I try to bring on people like Lane Oliver to do it, but he's got other shit going on, and it's just hard. Writing reviews for me feels a little redundant because it's too parallel to the stuff that we're talking about on the podcast. So when I write a review, I'm really afraid that I'm going to be saying the exact same shit that I said on the podcast. So I try to save like my most analytical, critique for the podcast, generally speaking.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm not even sure how many people really read reviews anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to just go to a link and listen to it for yourself.
Yeah, right. Why the fuck would you read a review? You can decide if you like it for yourself, right?
Exactly.
But I don't know. I think it just if you trust the person and their opinion, I think that's when a reviewer can become successful. You get into the vibe of their reviews, but I don't write enough reviews to write reviews, basically, and I probably never will, unless I quit doing the podcast. And then I don't see that happening. So
you and Eli, how'd y'all get together? Y'all high school friends or something?
Levi?
Levi. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Levi. Wow.
No worries. He's not listening. Don't worry. You probably won't even hear this. Yeah, Levi and I met in 2007, I think, when I moved to Humboldt County. He was working at a cannabis dispensary, and he was like, "Hey, nice shirt," to my Job for a Cowboy shirt. And basically, we're like best friends ever since then. Okay. So that's the Levi origin story. Simple as that. Weed and a Job for a Cowboy shirt.
Yep, riveting stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys started the cast in October 2016, and now you have 47 episodes almost for 4 years. That is a long time, man. Like, good on you for keeping that up.
Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely been points where I've questioned if it's something that I should continue doing, because it's the quality has waned and gotten better here and there, gotten
I think
worse.
we just lost your video. Oh, there you go.
Um,
But no, man, I think the quality's getting better. Like, you're adding more segments to it and stuff. Like, it's awesome. It's something I look forward to, man. Whenever it comes out, I'm listening to it.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, we're really trying to make it better, and we've kind of just been stuck in a sophomore slump, I guess. So my mission is to sort of overcome that, and actually we're going to start doing it weekly, so it doesn't feel so long form and long winded. And
dude,
we're
thank
so taxed.
God, man. I look forward to that so much. One every week would be amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the plan. At least it'll save us having to talk for like 3 fucking hours on one episode. That's a little too taxing, I've got like 6,000 words of like notes I've made, and I get caught up trying to like read. It's just, it's too much. So we got to shorten it up.
So when are you guys going to start live casting that thing? Doing it in video? That's
a good question. We just recently started live casting to our Patreon supporters, but that's kind of small time stuff because we're not really, we're not really putting it out there. In terms, we do some editing, and it's really like it's too self-aware right now to be an actual live cast. But hopefully, in the next year or so, we'll start doing a live cast format, an actual live cast where you can call in and speak with us.
Okay, that'd be awesome, man.
As far as video goes, I don't know if we'll ever like do an actual video podcast. I feel like we're constantly like hitting our vape pens and like drinking and like coughing. It's not really, it's not flattering to see us do that. So,
well, if it's live, then it'd be a good chance to like interact with people and stuff,
That's true. That's the one missing element for sure. And it is really nice to interact with the people in the Discord chat from the Patreon. So we'll be looking to expand that in the future.
Okay. So another part of Mathcore Index is Mathcore Index Fest. Now, it didn't just come out of nowhere. I'm sure there's a crazy story behind it. So what's the story?
There's no real like crazy story or anything. One day I just realized that we should probably be doing some kind of like DIY showcase because we're trying to champion these bands so much. Why don't we set up an opportunity for them to all perform and be under one roof and kind of really fully drive home that networking possibility and the community aspect, which has already been like really huge online, I think, but really wanting to like bring it into the flesh. So that's kind of like where the fest came from. And the first thing, I basically just reached out to Car Bomb and I was like, do you guys want to play this? And they responded very quickly, yes. So that was kind of like Car Bomb was the whole linchpin in Mathcore Index Fest to begin with. They sort of brought the whole thing to life. Without Car Bomb, I don't think the interest would have been there and we wouldn't have been able to get all the other subsequent supporting acts on.
Right, like getting an Albatross and stuff. I thought they were dead, and then they're just like headlining your fest all of a sudden, man. That's insane.
Yeah, and Albatross are still around, and I'm sure you heard their new EPs, so they're still alive and kicking. Yeah.
So now we're on to we were on to the third year of the cast this year, and I'm sure it's been a lot harder than the others to pull off because due to things that are going on. So how hard was that? What did you have to go through for that?
Just a lot of back and forth messaging and technical difficulties and just trying to sort of figure out the bits and bobs of doing a live performance. And, honestly, that's why it ended up being mostly pre-taped performances. Full disclosure, there was only one actual live performance in the whole 16 sets. The other 15 were pre-recorded studio sessions. Black Matter Devices set was the only actual live. They were the only people who were able to actually to set it up.
Yeah, I was going to say that one was definitely live. That one was definitely live.
Yeah, and that's how I think that made it probably the most
awesome.
Interesting. And yeah, I think that made it the funnest and most interesting set of the fest because of that, because of the actual live aspect.
Yeah.
So it was difficult.
Awesome.
It took a lot of learning Streamlab OBS and setting up various standby screens and just learning the software, I think, was the main challenge for me because I hadn't ever done any live streaming other than just like passively streaming gaming through Twitch. So.
Oh, do you stream on Twitch? I didn't know you did that.
I do occasionally through my personal handle, and there's a Twitch setup for Mathcore Index too. I just don't ever use it.
What's your handle?
For my personal,
Yeah.
it's the Nightmare of Solomon, Solomon.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check you out. What kind of games you streaming?
Usually Warzone because I'm a basic bitch, but occasionally like Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2 endgame shit.
Okay, that's sick, man. I'm really into Magic the Gathering, the card game, but there's like online versions of Arena and stuff like that. I don't know if you're into any of that stuff.
I never got into Magic the Gathering, never.
Oh, dude, I am addicted.
I had so many friends that, by all probability, I should have been into it for a long time, but no.
So another thing that you're doing, Dark Trail Records, man, started in 2017 with the release of Soundings album Trepanation, and they're about to release Sleeper Vessels by Fawn Limbs and my album, of course, on October 2nd.
That's right.
Buy my stuff.
Yep.
What made you take the leap into starting a record label?
I think that my longing just to help, to be involved in the music scene can only go so far when it's just sharing links and talking about it. So I really wanted to, it's kind of just another way for me to fill the void of not being in an active music project myself. Honestly, that's what all of this is for me, is just a way to pacify myself and still be actively involved in the scene and contribute. So I guess it kind of came out of that, but the real catalyst for Dark Trail Records was actually Paul Hundaby of ARMS and City of Ifa and Carnival Ghosts. He was the one who actually hit me up and was like, yo, you need to start a record label and help me put out my new stuff. So I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can all thank Paul Hundaby for Dark Trail Records. He basically was the person who encouraged me to start it.
Well, thank you, Paul. So
He's the lad.
while you're doing the label, did you ever feel like, what the heck did I get myself into? You ever go super into debt to try to release something?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, not super into debt, but definitely the returns aren't always immediate. Let's just put it that way. And it's kind of a passion project. I don't put out a release because I'm sure it's going to sell out, and I'm not picking out releases that I think are going to sell well. I'm picking out releases that I personally love, that are new artists that I feel need to have a bigger voice and a broader reach.
Well, hell yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you have to do it, man. Like, you have to really be into it, Can't just pick something that you think is going to, like what you're saying, is going to sell out or whatever. You got to, love what you do,
Right.
So,
I thoroughly love and believe in every artist that I put out on the label.
Hell yeah, man. So, the Callous Dowboys release seemed much bigger than your earlier ones. What happened? What made that one so big?
That's a good question. I feel like maybe it was just right place, right time, and a good combination of good just visual aesthetics, a good music video, discernible, strong lyrics, and a very strong online, quirky, eccentric presence with good humor. I feel like they've got the whole branding thing on point. So I feel like that was one really important part of it. But the right place, the right time thing. They got the right write-ups from NPR and Bandcamp.
They were on NPR. That's crazy.
They're on NPR Music, yeah. So they just managed to nail all the most crucial features to gain, I think, a lot more traction than a lot of the other artists that we've been affiliated with. See You Space Cowboy also enjoyed some relatively big success, but yeah, I think the Callous Dowboys have they've been kind of a darling of the underground recently.
Right? Oh, they've been killing it though, man. It's amazing stuff that they're putting out. So
yeah, they're so good. Actually, Die on Mars is my favorite album of 2019. Of course, I'm biased.
Mine too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, what does it take to get on Dark Trail Records? What do you want to see a band doing to get on a Dark Trail?
Oh, well, I want them to be forward-thinking and pushing some major boundaries, and I want them to be. I want to love them. That's the other thing. Basically, I just have to love your music, and not disagree with your message. I'm not trying to create an echo chamber, but at the same time, I'm not trying to put out artists whose music I don't fully align with. So that's kind of one big thing for me has been avoiding people.
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. which is such a almost a tawdry thing to say, but it's like I just don't want to associate myself with any bad stuff.
Well, it's really hard to do that nowadays. Like things just seem to keep coming out. It's actually kind of terrible.
Exactly, yeah. So forward thinking is something that I really emphasize, and I mean that's pretty much it. And Mathcore, if it's Mathcore, then you've already got my attention like 100%. So if I like it at that point, then it's pretty much a shoo-in.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you see bands doing wrong?
What do I think bands are doing wrong? So I got to take off my headphones from my phone dies here.
You good?
Well, for one, I feel like a lot of bands are overvaluing they're overvaluing digital artifacts. I see a lot of overcharging on Bandcamp, which really bothers the shit out of me.
Oh, me too, man. I've seen like albums for a download being $10. That's way too much. You know what I mean? Even like an EP being like $3. Like it's still like somewhat reasonable, but that's still just too much, I think.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like even $1 per song is like getting greedy. I really encourage the pay what you want, and like more of a socialist price scale, if you will. Like just charging a couple bucks is a really great way to gain more traction. The more transactions you get, the more visibility you get. Bandcamp rewards you essentially for pricing your digital download a little bit lower, or even just doing name your own price.
Exactly. One of the cool things that I found out, if you have an album that's name your price whenever it releases, a lot of the pirating websites will link to your Bandcamp to send people over there to download your album. So you get like a ton of traffic. When I released Roses and Thorns, I got the same amount of traffic as I did for Music Design to Give You Ideas. And I got the same amount of sales as I did for those 2 release days. And when I did Music Design, I tried to sell the digital download for, I think it was $3, something like that. And it just wasn't as big. It's wild, man. So it's something that artists really should be taking control of, like making your stuff free to download, because you're not getting as much money, but you're getting exposure, I guess. And that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's kind of important, and like people can go to Spotify and stream your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to sell that?
You took the words out of my mouth. If your music is already on Spotify, then at that point it's like, what are you doing? You may as well, not be charging anything on Bandcamp if it's already on Spotify, because they can just go listen to it there for free.
Exactly, and
you get paid, 100 percentile.
right. And if you make it for free on Bandcamp, then some guy's gonna download it and then he's gonna put it on his phone and start jamming it more and more. You know what I mean? Like if you charge for it, they might hear like a couple of songs and think, "Oh, this is cool," and just kind of forget about it later. They'll find this like constantly recurring on their phone. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm not going to completely discount, as much as I despise Spotify's business model, I'm not going to completely discount whatever benefits they have. They're obvious. But your end game as a band should not be a $200 a month Spotify royalty check. That's bullshit.
Right.
That shouldn't be your end game, and that shouldn't be a boast for you either. I mean, if there's 4 people in your band, and that's the amount of money that you're making on Spotify every month, and you're making less than $20,000 a year on merchandise, it really doesn't add up to a whole lot split 4 or 5 ways.
Right.
So it's not a sustainable business. It's not a sustainable business model. But I don't want to kiss Bandcamp's feet too much here. I've already done it so much on other platforms. But
Bandcamp is so much better than the other ones. If they could just figure out a way, like a streaming service that they could add into what they do, like that'd be amazing. I can't believe they haven't done it already. Actually, Oh, you can make playlists? I didn't know you could do that.
That's one.
Oh, they need it. Okay.
Lacking, I think, is they're lacking the playlist thing.
Right.
That's
also waiting for them to.
People are so less.
I'm sorry. I think you were cutting out a little bit.
Oh, just saying that people are just so less album oriented. They're more playlist oriented nowadays.
Yeah. Right. And I'm also waiting for Bandcamp to finally get their vinyl thing together, like where you can just fund it on their website. That would be amazing.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right? It was like, what, 2 years ago or something when they announced it, and now, like, we haven't heard anything yet,
I think COVID-19 perhaps maybe set back that plan, and they may have just been stretched too financially to continue doing that, or
Yeah, yeah.
to humor doing that. There is a website called Crates, though, Urates, crates.com,
Yes,
and they will
yes.
actually, you can crowdsource a vinyl there.
Yeah, it's a good option. I saw a post on Facebook that you were the manager of the Calistal Boys. Is that like a thing that you do for a lot of bands? You're the manager for them?
I was very briefly their manager. It didn't end up working out in the end because they're kind of impossible to manage. I love them very much, but they they had their too many cooks in the kitchen kind of deal. So I kind of just stepped back and I was like, I'm gonna let you guys take it from here. And I was in the process of helping them negotiate whatever deal, but they went their own direction, and that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I not really. I had tried to do some management for bands, and I was trying to do PR as well, but I the actual people that hit me up about doing PR were not people I was enthusiastic about promoting. And at that point, I realized I can't really do this if I can't speak enthusiastically about their music. So I don't know. I kind of I'm putting the doing PR and managing on ice for now. I'm just trying to focus on doing Dark Trail again and focus on doing Mathcore Index for the time being.
Okay.
I
So,
think I've spread myself too thin.
well, you're already doing so many things. You know what I mean? You can't do everything.
Exactly.
So, if God forbid Mathcore Index and Dark Trail's headquarters burned to the ground and you had to restart, what would you do differently?
Oh wow, what would I do differently?
Because I'm sure you've
Honestly, there's
learned
not much I
like
would do
things
different.
that you were doing incorrectly before.
Yeah. As far as Mathcore Index is concerned, there's nothing really I would do differently. I feel like we've stuck really thoroughly to our mission statement. Like we've stuck true to what the original purpose of it was to be, which is just to promote as much underground music as possible. I feel like maybe we overshare and inundate people with music sometimes, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If you've got the time to go through and look at all the 20 links that I posted in the last week, then good on you, and hopefully you find a new favorite band. So there's nothing different that I would do there. As far as Dark Trail is concerned, there's definitely been times where I've had a little too much hubris about the brand and the bands that I'm working with and the ability to sell lots of records. Records are expensive. Vinyl records are very expensive to go in on. They're very expensive to
Oh yeah,
produce.
don't have to tell me
And
about that.
as much as I love artists, you can't necessarily expect everyone else to love them. So I think that um, dialing back expectations is important. Making wise investments is important. You know, I would have also consistently put out more releases through Dark Trail. I think that's the other thing that I just lapsed on because I've been doing so many other things on the sideline. Mathcore Index takes up a lot of my time, so inevitably Dark Trail saw a serious period of neglect, especially in the earlier part of this year and the earlier part of last year too. I seem to have like a slow quarter of every year for some reason, so I'm trying to make it like a one release kind of a month sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see more releases coming from you, man. So what is your favorite non-Dark Trail release this year so far?
Oh shit! I'm gonna cheat and look at my Bandcamp real quick because I can't really think offhand. You caught me off guard with this question. Um, Off the top of my head, I've been jamming the new Piron a lot, so that's definitely one thing I really really enjoy. Willowtip's been fucking killing it. They put out that new Behold the Octopus album, which even though I'm not super crazy about, I think that's really good. Um, I really like the new album by Asatis. Looking at my Bandcamp right now, that was super good. Um, I don't want to just continually talk about Dark Trail, but I'm really excited for Fondlam Sleeper Vessels. I'm excited for the Soundman's creation, Meme Streams, and Flying Machines.
Hell
Um,
yeah, hell yeah.
I'm excited for another release to announce. Uh, Another really solid release was 156's Irrational Pull. It's not explicitly mathcore or anything, but a real fucking heavy album with some great lyrics, great
Oh
music
yeah, it was
video,
really dope.
good shit. In's album was really good. The Central dropped a great EP. That's pretty much it. Those are like my biggest highlights of the year. I don't want to like give away too much because I'll be starting to give you what my end of the year list sounds like.
Right. So I just got to say, man, a lot of bands, myself included, feel indebted to you for helping us get some sort of success. Without you creating a center for this niche genre, Mathcore Index. Well, I guess you didn't create it, but take it over. There wouldn't be much of a scene to speak of. You didn't just promote a band; you created a place for the scene to gather and become a community, which has been instrumental in the survival of the genre. I feel like when I was releasing "We Are the Burden," I looked for places to promote mathcore when I was releasing it, and there was nothing, man. When I released Fitting Through the Crawl Space, and you guys actually put it on your podcast, and I actually got some attention. It was amazing, man. And every year keeps getting bigger and bigger, which is amazing for this genre that kind of, I guess, not died out technically, but a lot of the bands ended up quitting a long time ago. And I know this kind of sounds like ass kissing, but dude, for real, like I can't find the words, man. Really appreciate what you've done for me specifically and for the whole scene. Like, it's amazing. Your dedication.
Dude, thank you so much
incredible.
for saying that. I really appreciate you saying all that. I mean, yeah, that was kind of like the whole thing was I wanted to legitimize the genre. I wanted people to feel proud to rep that they're a mathcore band, to say the term mathcore, because it's sort of almost inherently pretentious to insinuate that your music is more technical and avant-garde than your peers, but I wanted to embolden people to feel like they could rep that tag. And I'm especially proud of the community that we've built. It's really good. It's the most fulfilling aspect, actually, is to see all the bands and the artists come together and do splits and play shows and do tours. And yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that.
I think we're kind of losing your audio a little bit.
And yeah, I mean, you're right. Where did you lose me?
Okay, wait. Now you sound a little bit better. It sounded like something was going wrong. Yeah. You're doing good. I think you're a little quieter than before. Anyway, it's still good. We're still going.
Let me just scoot a bit closer to the. Okay. Where did you lose me?
Oh no. We got it. It was just kind of clipping in and out a little bit. So if chat has any questions,
okay, cool.
Feel free to ask them. But yeah, I guess we can start plugging a bit and waiting if chat has any questions. I'll read them out. But everybody knows who you are and where to find you. But is there anything you would like to plug?
Man, well, as far as like really exciting new mathcore bands go, I mean, Texas is on the come up right now. Obviously, you're doing really good stuff. There's a really good band called Pillar of Wasps, who I would recommend to everyone. You should definitely go check out. They're like in the demo phase, but they're super good. The God Awful Truth is another band that everyone should be listening to right now. They're in the studio, I think, right now, actually, also from Texas. The Callous Dawboys. If you don't know about the Callous Dawboys, you need to investigate this band because they're the most exciting thing to be happening in the genre in a really long time. So I definitely want to plug them. They're also just the homies, of course, too. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got to plug right now.
Right. Everybody knows where Mathcore Index is. Just look it up on Facebook. They've got an amazing community on there.
Yeah.
You're also on Instagram and Twitter. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, we're on Twitter.
Okay.
And we've got a website, mathcoreindex.com, so you can find all that shit in one place there.
Right. So for me, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I will be getting a YouTube coming up. This will also be available on all the streaming websites. If you're listening to this on YouTube or through your car or whatever, we go live every Sunday. times might change a little bit. Next Sunday, I'm going to be interviewing Fawn Limbs, and it's going to have to be noon Central Time because he lives in Finland. So there's that. So that would be 12 Central, 10 Pacific, and 1 Eastern. So if you're listening on YouTube, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anything else you wanted to add, Christian?
Thank you, the cast at Ins Creation, for having me on.
Well, it's been amazing having you here. Thanks for watching, everybody, and or listening.